Around 30 AD, a Jewish preacher was executed by crucifixion in the Roman province of Judea. His followers numbered in the dozens, perhaps a few hundred at most. The Roman Empire barely noticed. Within 3 centuries, that same empire adopted his teachings as its official religion. Within 2 millennia, his message reached 2.3 billion people across every inhabited continent on Earth. Christianity began with a small band of followers in a backwater province, preaching a message that got them persecuted, imprisoned, and killed. The Romans worshipped their emperors as gods. The Jews waited for a military messiah to drive out their oppressors. Neither group wanted what these early Christians offered. Yet this persecuted minority religion became the most practiced faith on the planet. Jesus Christ was a Jew who lived in Roman Judea. His resurrection and divinity are matters of faith, but his existence and death by crucifixion around 30 AD are widely accepted as historical fact. After his death, a small group of followers called the Apostles began spreading his teachings. Around 36 AD, they were joined by Paul, who experienced a vision of Christ while traveling to Damascus. Paul made it his life's mission to spread the message of Christ's death and resurrection. He traveled relentlessly, winning converts around the Mediterranean and reaching as far west as Italy. According to tradition, the Apostle Mark established a church in Alexandria around 42 AD, the origin of today's Coptic Orthodox Church. Also according to tradition, Thomas the Apostle arrived in India in 52 AD and established several Christian communities, though most historians dispute this for lack of evidence. Paul and missionaries like him successfully spread Christianity across the Roman Empire in the 1st century. Christian communities appeared from North Africa to Italy. By 100 AD, the 4 Gospels that make up the Bible's New Testament were complete. They formed the foundation of Christianity that endures today. Christianity continued spreading through the Roman Empire and among its neighbors. Around 301, Armenian King Tiridates III converted and proclaimed it the state religion, making Armenia the world's oldest Christian country. Christians faced brutal persecution across the Roman Empire, where emperors were considered divine. Then, in 312, everything changed. According to Christian chroniclers, Roman Emperor Constantine experienced a Christian vision just before the Battle of Milvian Bridge. The following year, he passed the Edict of Milan, legalizing Christianity across the Roman Empire. In 325, he convened the Council of Nicaea, the first formal church gathering aimed at resolving theological disputes. An estimated 300 bishops attended, evidence of Christianity's rapid growth and organization. The council established the Nicene Creed, a statement of Christian faith still used today. Christianity was fragmented, with numerous groups flourishing. Most disputes centered on the precise nature of Christ and his relationship to God and the Trinity. Around 330, Christianity spread south into Africa. King Ezana declared it the official religion of Aksum in the Horn of Africa, the origin of today's Ethiopian Church, one of the oldest in the world. In 380, Emperor Theodosius passed the first Roman law defining Orthodox Christian belief. Christianity was becoming the state religion of the Roman Empire. Across its territory, Christians attacked old temples, destroying some and converting others into churches. Later, emperors outlawed worship of the old gods and persecuted their followers, who became known as pagans, a term for those considered backward and inferior. The empire that had crucified Christ now worshipped him. The tribes that overran the Western Roman Empire, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Vandals, also converted to Christianity, even if initially they adopted beliefs the Church considered heretical. Around 405, St. Jerome completed a new Latin translation of the Bible, known as the Vulgate. It became the official text of the Catholic Church and remains the basis of the Catholic Bible today. Over the next 2 centuries, missionaries worked at great personal risk to convert pagan communities and their rulers. A pattern emerged. The conversion of an influential ruler often led to the conversion of entire realms. Christianity spread throughout Western Europe, even as the Western Roman Empire fell. Around 432, St. Patrick travelled to Ireland to begin converting the Irish. In 508, Clovis, king of the Franks, converted, completing the conversion of Gaul. In 563, Columba travelled from Ireland to western Scotland, establishing a monastery on Iona, one of the oldest in Western Europe. In 589, Visigoth king Recared renounced his former beliefs and converted his entire kingdom to Catholicism. In 597, Pope Gregory sent St. Augustine to Britain. He converted King Ethelbert of Kent, beginning the conversion of the English. One king's decision could transform millions. This became Christianity's most effective method in Europe, not persuading individuals one by one, but convincing rulers that their power and legitimacy flowed through the church. In 635, Alopen became the first known Christian missionary to reach China. Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty issued an edict allowing Christianity to spread. Missionaries built churches and translated Christian texts into Chinese. Christian theology mixed with existing traditions, adopting Taoist and Buddhist terms. Meanwhile, Arab forces proclaiming the new faith of Islam conquered much of the Middle East and North Africa, seizing control of Christianity's most holy sites in Jerusalem. By 720, these conquests extended as far as the Iberian Peninsula. Most rulers of these new states tolerated Christianity in their lands. Though treated as second-class subjects, Christian communities endured. Christianity had learned to survive under hostile rule. Medieval Europe splintered into many kingdoms. Frankish King Charlemagne extended his rule across Francia, Bavaria, Saxony, and northern Spain. Wherever he conquered, he converted new subjects to Christianity, often by force. In 800, he was crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope, the first in an imperial line that lasted 1,000 years. Christianity continued spreading north and east through royal conversions. In 965, King Harold Bluetooth of Denmark converted. Duke Mieszko brought Poland's nobility with him. Vladimir the Great, Grand Prince of Kiev, founded Christianity in Ukraine and Russia. King Olaf Tryggvason of Norway sent missionaries to Iceland and Greenland. King Stephen converted Hungary. King Olof Skotkonung attempted to convert Sweden, meeting fierce resistance. In 1054, tensions between the Greek Eastern Church, headed by the Patriarch in Constantinople, and the Latin Western Church, ruled by the Pope in Rome, led to a permanent split. The result was the formation of the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church. Christianity now had 2 distinct branches competing for followers. The Byzantine Empire faced pressure from the Seljuk Turks. In 1095, Pope Urban II called for a holy war to aid the Byzantine Empire and reclaim the Holy Land for Christians. He promised forgiveness of sins to those who took part. Catholic Christians signed up in droves. The success of the First Crusade led to the establishment of several Christian states in the Levant. Within 200 years, all had fallen to their neighbors. Christian rulers had more success in Iberia, rolling back the earlier conquests. In northern Europe, crusades targeted pagans in the Baltic and Finland. Christianity continued gaining influence in the east. Papal legate John of Montecorvino crossed Armenia, Persia, and India to reach China, where in 1294 he became the first bishop of what would become Beijing. In 1386, Grand Duke Jogaila, the last pagan ruler of Lithuania, was baptized and began converting his subjects. In 1453, the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, the center of the Eastern Orthodox Church. Constantinople had been considered the new Rome. With its fall, the Russian Orthodox Church claimed Moscow as the Third Rome, with the duty to protect all Orthodox Christians. The Age of Discovery, marked by pioneering sea voyages, saw Western European powers carry Christianity to distant lands. In 1482, a Portuguese ship reached the Kingdom of Congo. 9 years later, its ruler Nzinga Nkuvu converted to Christianity, along with many nobles. The king later abandoned his Catholic faith, but Christianity remained Congo's state religion. In 1492, Catholic monarchs defeated the last rulers in Spain who followed Islam. In the Emirate of Granada, the Christian reconquest of Iberia was complete. That same year, Christopher Columbus reached the Americas. Further transatlantic voyages paved the way for colonization and conversion of this new world. In 1493, Pope Alexander VI issued a papal bull granting Spain the right to claim newly discovered lands in South America. The bull urged that the Christian religion be exalted and spread everywhere, and that barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to the faith. The following year, in the Treaty of Tordesillas, Spain and Portugal divided the New World between them, drawing a line on a map. Spain got everything to the west, Portugal everything to the east. Wherever Spanish and Portuguese expeditions went, Christian missionaries followed. Across what became New Spain, the Spanish imposed Roman Catholicism with forced conversion of indigenous peoples and attempts to erase native religions. The same process occurred in Peru and Portuguese Brazil. This era also marked the dawn of the transatlantic slave trade, as Europeans transported enslaved Africans to the Americas as forced labor. Christianity spread in West Africa as a consequence of this trade. By the 16th century, Portuguese missionaries had established Christian communities along the coast. In Europe, another major split occurred. In 1517, German priest Martin Luther launched a fierce attack on what he considered corrupt practices of the Roman Catholic Church. His actions triggered the Protestant Reformation. Protestant demands for church reform spread rapidly, aided by Gutenberg's printing press. Several European rulers took them up for both political and spiritual reasons. Protestantism took hold in Northern Europe. In 1534, English King Henry VIII broke with Rome and made himself head of the Church of England. From its birth, Protestantism divided into numerous groups: Calvinists, Lutherans, Baptists, Anabaptists, Moravian Brethren, Anglicans, and Presbyterians. Yet Catholicism remained the dominant branch. Catholicism now traveled to Southeast Asia, alongside Portuguese and Spanish commercial interests. Missionary Francis Xavier journeyed across Asia as a representative of the Portuguese Empire. He landed in Goa in 1542, sailed to Portuguese outposts in Indonesia in 1545, and reached Japan in 1549, where Christianity gained many followers. In 1565, the Philippines became a Spanish colony and a hub for European trade. Catholic missionaries ensured Christianity soon became the dominant religion. In the early 1600s, Protestants from England and the Netherlands established colonies along the North American coast. Many were Puritans seeking religious freedom and the opportunity to build perfect Christian communities. Missionary John Eliot contacted native tribes in Massachusetts, and by 1663 printed a Bible in their language, but conversion attempts had limited success. In the centuries ahead, the spread of European settlers carried Christianity across the North American continent. By the end of the 18th century, Europeans had successfully embedded Christianity across the Americas. In both Britain and the future United States, this century saw religious revivals known as the Great Awakenings. These led to the birth of the modern movement, emphasizing scripture and personal salvation. In the high age of European imperialism, Christianity traveled to the remaining corners of the globe alongside European settlers and missionaries. In 1788, Christianity arrived in Australia with the first British penal colony. The London Missionary Society sent its first missionaries to eastern Polynesia in 1797. Missionary work was largely responsible for Christianity's spread across the South Pacific Islands. Christianity reached New Zealand, where missionary Samuel Marsden preached the first Christian sermon in 1814. Christian missionaries spread their faith across India, among them Baptist minister William Carey. Known as the father of modern missions, he translated the Bible into 7 Indian languages. Christian missionaries were resented by many Hindus and followers of Islam. This anger contributed to the Great Indian Uprising against British rule in 1857. This was the age of heroic missionaries, men and women who embarked on long and dangerous journeys to save souls in distant lands. Scottish missionary David Livingstone was perhaps the most famous, the first European to reach many parts of Central Africa and to discover and name Victoria Falls. Others included Adoniram and Anne Judson, who spent nearly 40 years in Burma, and Mary Slessor in Nigeria, who learned the local language Efik to preach Christianity. In 1884, American Presbyterians arrived in Korea, bringing Western medicine and Christianity. The new religion took off. Today, nearly a third of South Koreans are Christian. In the 1880s, European nations began the Scramble for Africa, a colonial division of the last independent African states. By 1914, they had claimed 90% of the continent, bringing Christianity with them. China had proved largely resistant to Christianity, with only around 100,000 converts by the start of the 20th century. There had even been violent backlash, the Boxer Rebellion, with thousands of Chinese Christians killed. But extensive missionary work after 1900 led to the construction of thousands of churches and around 4 million Chinese converts by 1945. In the 20th century, the rise of communism proved a major threat to Christianity and other religions. Communist governments in the Soviet Union and Central and Eastern Europe dismantled the church and suppressed worship. But Christianity proved more resilient. When those governments fell, Christian churches re-emerged with popular support. Even in communist China, many millions of Christians exist today. Despite tight state regulation, Christianity became the most popular religion on earth through forces that unfolded over 2 millennia. The conversion of Constantine transformed Christianity from a persecuted minority into the official religion of history's greatest empire, embedding it in the power structures of the Western world. The focus on converting rulers created a cascading effect. One king's decision could transform entire kingdoms overnight. A pattern repeated from Europe to Africa to Asia. The Age of Discovery and European colonialism carried Christianity to every inhabited continent. Where European powers established colonies, Christianity followed. Often imposed through force and cultural destruction, waves of dedicated missionaries, from Paul in the 1st century to those of the 19th century, risked everything to spread the faith. They translated scriptures, built churches, and established communities in the most remote places on earth. Christianity's ability to split and adapt allowed it to take different forms while maintaining core beliefs. From the Great Schism creating Eastern Orthodoxy to the Protestant Reformation spawning countless denominations, Christianity proved flexible enough to survive in vastly different cultures. For nearly 2,000 years, the impact of countless missionaries and colonizers helped spread Christianity across the globe. Today, 2.3 billion Christians live across nearly every country on earth, making up nearly a third of the world's population. The religion that began with a few dozen followers of an executed Jewish preacher became humanity's most widespread faith through one of the most astonishing journeys in human history.